afternoon, good evening, those of you on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platforms. I'm Mr. Clay. Let us pray. Oh, most holy Sanini Nanini, even Tata and Zombie. Yes, the Heya, we give you the glory, even the spirit that moved upon the water according to Genesis 1. We glorify you. We thank you for everything. Yes, we thank you for just subduing our enemies and making our enemies low. Even as we speak, they're getting lower and lower. Oh, we give you the glory and the praise for all those things. Yet, we have gone astray. We have lost our way. We don't even know who we are. And we began to even doubt you. And we call you out. And those strong delusions that were delivered to us throughout the years that we can't even get the scripture right. But oh, most holy, even Tata and Zombie, we ask you to deal with our minds and our hearts. Show us the plain path of who you are and who we are, individually, that we might worship you and that we might walk in your ways and that we might praise you for all that you've done. Yes, even the children of the Bantu, even Israel, and we thank you. Yes. Now, we're in 1 Kings chapter 16, and we're going to start with verse 29. Yes, verse 29. And in the 30th year of the king of Asa of Judah began Ahab, the son of Omri, to reign over Israel. And Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. This is how long he reigned. Now, and Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the I Am above all that were before him. Yes. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. In other words, there was nothing to him. He had no faith, no nothing. And he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Zidonians. Now, remember that. Jezebel was a Zidonian. She was an idol worshiper. She was hideous with her ways and went and served Baal and worshipped him. This is what she did. In other words, when you get into these religions and these dogmas and they have no morality, no nothing, something is wrong. When to delete another person or cause someone to stumble that is walking holy and wonderfully before their God, something is wrong. And with that, let's go to chapter 19. Chapter 18, I'm sorry. Chapter 18. 1 Kings chapter 18. And we're going to start with verse 3. Yes, 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 3. And he said that Ahab, called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Obadiah was the governor of Ahab's house. Now, Obadiah feared the I Am greatly. I mean, he respected, he feared, because he knew who the God of Israel truly is. Now, it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the I Am that Obadiah, he feared him so greatly that he took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, go into the land, unto all the fountains of water, unto all the brooks, perhaps we may find grass to save horses and mules, that we lose none of the beasts. Now, this here is where he was a faithful servant even to Ahab. Now, let's go to chapter 19. In chapter 19, it goes like this. Start with verse 1. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done. Now, this was the prophet of that day in the land of Israel. Elijah ministered to what? The northern kingdom. Okay? And he told Jezebel, now we call this guy a simp. And he told, Elijah did this to me. Elijah had done, and with all how Elijah, he had slain all the prophets with the sword. And all the prophets of who? The bee-man. The bee-devil. Yeah. I'm not going to mention his name no more. It's not worthy. Now, and Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and more so, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant. Now, he was the one that went after those who would deal with Jezebel and her religion. Jezebel, she not only knew who God was, the God of Israel, but she also worshipped two gods at one time. One was her God, and the other one was the God of Israel, or the God of the Bantu. Now, so she told Elijah, because, some of you say, Elijah should have turned the other cheek. Why are you going to kill them people like that? You need to be put in jail. Yeah. You got a problem. Israel fault. I don't care about you Christians or whatever you say. Israel fault. The real Israel, the real true people of God, the real whoever you will call the church, they fault. They did the things that were honorable in the sight of God, because God said, you come into this land and you got these false prophets and stuff, you put them to death. That's what he said. You go back and read some of my archives on YouTube and TikTok. Yes. Now, let's go back. Now, it says, we're going to go back to chapter 21. Chapter 21. Now, this is sort of a mixed up. I don't like jumping into scripture a lot because it doesn't really bring it out, but this brings out who these characters are and what they are doing. And we're going to start with verse 2. And Ahab spake to Naboth. Now, here's another instances of Ahab. He spoke to Naboth and said, give me your vineyard, that I might have it for a garden of herbs. Instead of grapes, he wanted herbs. He wanted something to season his food with, okay? And because it is near to my house. Oh, another one, convenience. Isn't that like some of the entities that we know that have taken the lands and taken the minerals and resources of other lands to say, because I want it, and enslave the people? And I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. And they gave them sort of like some little bit of something that was worthless, like aid. Now it would seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. So he says. Now, and Naboth said to Ahab, that I am forbidden, I'm not giving you this, that I should give the inheritance of my father unto thee. Yes, you do not sell the inheritance. Some of you have done that. What your fathers have bought, what your fathers have inherited, you sold it and went to the city. Shame. Now somebody else is rich. Land is what you need. Now, and Ahab came into his house heavy, displeased, because the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. And he had said, I will not give thee the inheritance of my father. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. But Jezebel, his wife, came to him and said, why is your spirit so sad that thou eatest no bread? Why are you not eating? And she was being all sympathetic. And he said, this simp called Ahab said unto her, because I spake to Naboth the Jezreelite, and he said unto him, give me your vineyard, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give you nothing, or I will not give you my vineyard. And Ahab, Jezebel, his wife, said to him, dost thou not govern the kingdom? Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Are you not the king? Arise, eat bread, let thine heart be merry, and I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth. In other words, I don't know what he was thinking. He might have thought she was going to go there and put some charm on Naboth, but that wasn't going to work. No, it wasn't. So her charm didn't work, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters unto the elders of the noble that was in the city, dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letter saying, proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high. In other words, she's saying, delete Naboth among the people. And the two men, the sons of Belial, she set up liars in wait before him. Belial, evil, wicked men, to bear witness against him, saying, thou didst blaspheme God and the king. In other words, she don't even honor the God of Israel. And then carried him out and stoned him that he might die. And the men of the city, even the elders of the nobles, were the inhabitants of his city, did as Jezebel had sent him unto them, and as it is written in the letters which she had sent unto them. So they proclaimed a fast, and they deleted Naboth. And now let us turn to chapter 1 Kings or 2 Kings, chapter 22. Second Kings chapter 22. Yes, and what we're going to do, we're going to go to verse 22. Verse 22, yes. Now, this is the end of it all. And the I am said unto him, wherewith he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also, go forth and do so. In other words, let's go a little bit above that. And the I am said, who shall persuade Ahab that he might go and fall at Ramoth Gilead? See, we don't know, these spirits talk to our minds. We don't know why we do the things we do sometimes. It's not just that we made a decision. God leads us, and sometimes we're led about like a cow with a ring in his nose, because we are so stubborn in our ways that God has to lead us that way. Now, this way, he was led to his death. Now, and then all of a sudden, this spirit says, who's going to lead this man to this place? And it says, now, a lying spirit. We're in verse 22 now. He said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. These are the prophets of the other gods. Thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also, and so go forth and do so. So you have to watch out for all these women and some that always have a word from God and a word from this and that. You have to realize that a lot of spirits are set forth to lead you away from God, that you might be tested. Some of you are only come to God because of what you think you're getting, and therefore you are deceived even by these big men that call themselves men of God, but yet they are servants of Belial, even this same God that Jezebel is faithful to. Now, but Zedekiah the son of now therefore, behold, the Lord had put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets, and the Lord spoke evil concerning thee. This is something. But Zedekiah the son of Cheniah went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek, and says, which way went the spirit of the Lord? Whoa! Which way did he go after he slapped him? He said, from me, to speak unto thee. In other words, that's what some of us need to do to some of these men and women who prophesy all the time. Slap the stew out of them. And say, which way did the Spirit of God go? Which way did you say your spirit went? What did he say? Why he went that way? See, Zedekiah was smart. And the king of Israel said, take Micaiah and carry him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and Joash the king's son. So he didn't believe that guy. He said, leave him alone. Now, we go back to verse 30. It says, and the king of Israel said, Jehovah, they went out to fight, okay? And the king went out to said to Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter into battle. See, God's ready to get rid of this guy, because this guy, he's caused so much harm and havoc, and the children of Israel have already been proven by the ways of this guy. Instead of them standing up for the ways of the Most High, they still follow the king. This is something about the kings. When Israel chose a king, and said, we don't want to hear God, we're afraid of him and all this, what did he do? This is in the book of Samuel. He said, give him the king. They have not rejected you, Samuel. They've rejected me. Who was the king of glory? Even the Most High. Was it not Sanini Nanini? Was it not Tata and Zambi? Even Yahuwah? Huh? Who was the king? It was not Jesus. A man after, and then God is getting ready to take his kingdom back. And he's going to test people and deal with people that they might not follow men again. Let's get this right. God is the king. There's no other king beside him. Now, and the king of Israel said, I will disguise myself and enter into the battle, and put thou on thy robes. And the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. But the king of Syria commanded his 32 captains and said, rule over his chariots, saying, fight neither with small nor great, save only with the king. His whole mission was to kill the king of Israel, even Ahab. Yes. And it came to pass, I'm in verse 52 of the 22nd chapter of 1 Kings. 1 Kings 22 and 52. Or should I say 32? I'm sorry, 32. Now, when the kings of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, surely is the king of Israel, they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out, I'm not Ahab, I'm not Ahab. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariot perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back from pursuing. Now this is how God is, that no man should take the glory. And a certain man drew a bow and venture, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Wherefore he said unto the driver of his chariot, turn thy hand and carry me out of the host. I am wounded. And he died. Yes. And then this old wicked Jezebel, the one whom they say in Revelation, he gonna put a married woman in the bed so you commit fornication. I thought fornication between two unmarried people, but she's turned into a single woman now. Okay, let's go to 2 Kings verse 9. 2 Kings verse 9. 2 Kings verse 9. Okay, this was her fate. Excuse me. This is her fate. 2 Kings verse 9, chapter 32. And we're gonna read this right here. Now, and Jehu, he came back. This is what she did. We're gonna go a little further than that. Now, and when Jehu was come to Jezebel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face. Like some of you so ugly, you paint your face, and then it's just like one of them cartoons. Why not? If the man love you, he love you. If people love you, they love you anyway. Because you're going to have to go back to that same face you had before. Now, God already knew who Jezebel was. Now, Jezebel came, and he heard of it. She painted her face and tied her head. You know where she wrapped head around? She wrapped a rag around her head. And looked out of the window. I mean, she was looking good. Had that paint on her face. Her eyelashes was done and all that stuff. And yeah, she was looking good. Now, as Jehu entered into the gate, she said, had Nimri peace, who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and, was total disdain. I'm sure he had total disdain. And said, who is on my side? Who? And they looked out to him, 2 or 3 eunuchs. And he said, throw her down. So they threw her down, and some of her blood, even as the prophet had prophesied, was sprinkled on the wall and on her horse. And he trode under her foot, and trode her underfoot. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink, and say, go now see this cursed woman and bury her, for she is the king's daughter. And when they went to bury her, they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of the hand. Wherefore they came again and told him, it is the word of the I am, which spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall the dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel. And with that, yes. So, old man, you have to walk right, and the woman you choose should be of the same mind, or it's going to be torment upon you. And with that, you will develop very good godly children, because both of you will be on the same path to teaching your own children, and you'll be a blessed family. And with that, we're going to say peace.